There are very few moments in life when people from different backgrounds and cultures get the privilege to network and share useful ideas for nearly 1 week. The 39th AEAA conference was one of these moments, a moment which sparked the spirit of regional integration through educational assessment.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you for this great event that brings together examination boards, researchers, and practitioners in the entire education assessment ecosystem.
The 39th AEAA conference drew close to 400 participants from 20 African countries and around the world with the theme Educational Assessment for Nurturing Every Learner's Potential. By hosting the 39th Annual Conference from 21st to 25th August 2023 at the Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi, Kenya, the Kenya National Examinations Council responded to Africa's need for economic and social integration.
We have got Azerbaijan, let's clap for them. Australia, let's clap for Australia. Belgium, Botswana, Burma, Cameroon, Canada, Ethiopia, Eswatini, Gambia, Ghana, Kenya, Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, the Netherlands, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, South Africa, South Sudan, Tanzania, the United Kingdom, United States of America, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe.
This is going to be the conference of all conferences. I can see that we have already taken off effectively. We had our ESCO meeting today, and I can tell you it was beautiful. So the good news I have for you is that we are set. We are ready to host the world in Kenya.
I want to take this opportunity once again to welcome all the delegates to Nairobi, Kenya, for this 39th AEA conference that we are hosting here in Safari Park. And I want to wish all of you a fruitful participation during the conference.
In his opening remarks, the guest of honor and Kenya's Prime Cabinet Secretary Honorable Musalia Mudavadi laid a clear path towards educational assessment for nurturing every learner's potential.
All that remains is to appeal to member countries to institutionalize the sharing of best practices and rich learning experiences to improve assessments.
There are quite a number of international assessments that are done leveraging on technology. How do we deal with our national assessments? And how do we benefit from the investment that has been put into technology?
The keynote speaker was a class apart. Indeed, he was the perfect choice for this international conference. The plenary could not but admire with enchanted awe Professor P.L.O. Lumumba's grasp of the African history. His bold and unapologetic oratory skills kept every eye and heart glued to the podium. This did set the mood for the conference.
A candidate who is studying mathematics for the purpose of becoming an engineer be assessed at the same level as a teacher who is going to teach kindergarten. And then, having assessed them at that level of mathematics for engineers, you then award them D, and the engineering student scores A. And this D becomes an albatross around their neck throughout their life. Is it not possible to have a system that talks about mathematics for kindergarten teachers and therefore assess them at that level?
The spirit of nurturing every learner's potential during the conference was indeed defined by the presentation of papers backed with rich research findings, benchmarking by delegates on educational issues and more specifically on assessment.
1995, I won the World Cup marathon in Athens, Greece. Yeah, as we speak now, I have a diploma from the World Championship. And the other thing, I must appreciate my mom because one of the most important things she did, she never stopped me from running. And that's the reason why I'm able to be here in front of you speaking about my story.
Growing up, I remember after high school, there was a producer who identified my talent. I got the opportunity to perform in front of 3 heads of states from Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. And when I performed, I was all over media, all over media. So that's where my life changed, like everybody was asking, where has she been? I mean, it's upon the people in the education sector, policymakers. I mean, we just need to see how best we can assess or how best we can support the life skills. We all have it, but we need to identify it at a younger age. I'm glad that our government has this new curriculum introduced, the CBC, competence-based curriculum. It's going to help quite a number of kids.
At class 4, I started running the cross country. And what was very, very interesting is that I liked the sceneries, because when we could go out there and learn, I was like one of the pupils who didn't want to see anybody ahead. And even before I did that, I used to run every morning around my neighborhood. And out of that, I didn't know it was because of one thing, the power of passion. I came to realize that later in life, but with that, it really helped me to get where I am today. In the year 2001, I went to Boston Marathon, I won, and I went to Chicago, and I broke the world record, where I did the marathon in 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 47 seconds. So meaning I broke the barrier for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I encourage all of you to keep on encouraging our children. And I'm so glad for the government that they have chosen to have the CBC. If there is anybody who is most excited because of the CBC, it's myself.
I have been involved in the sport for 17 years, and all that 17 years I've managed to get a lot of achievements in between. At one point, I was the top try scorer in the world, the all-time series top try scorer. Currently now I'm second all-time in the world and the first in Africa. So I would say it has really, personally, I think rugby has really helped me open doors that I thought would never be opened.
Issues and more specifically on assessment.
There are trainings that those trainers have to obtain. They have to be trained to become internal verifiers. They have to be trained to become, quality assurance people.
Good assessment allows us to improve or target teaching. Good teachers use formative assessment all the time, as we know, to understand what children have learnt, to identify gaps in their knowledge, and inform the next steps in their teaching.
So we have these two indicators that are equivalent. The CESA indicator measures also science, but basically these two indicators try to assess the learning progression for foundational through early secondary years, because they have 3 points of measurement, grade 2 and 3, end of primary, end of lower secondary.
The highlight of this conference for me has been the lots of learning that has been happening, meeting new players in the education sector who have like interest, and being part of this workshop through sponsorship.
Above all, the 39th AEAA conference brought some of Africa's best minds to the table and showed that educational assessment for nurturing every learner's potential can serve as a powerful wind at the back of regional integration. The outgoing AEAA president, Patrick Aragon, led other conference speakers in calling upon all education systems to adopt educational assessments that respond to every learner.
The quality of education in any country is determined by the quality of assessment. And of course, you know, the quality of any country is determined by the quality of education.
Africa is endowed with very rich and diverse abilities. But the big question we seek to ask ourselves through this conference is whether assessment is playing its rightful role in nurturing all such potential.
Drawing as much inspiration from various presentations of the day, the delegates were treated to the best of Kenya's food and entertainment at the Safari Park Hotel in Nairobi, Kenya. Pomp and color, song and dance, joy and laughter, wining and dining together, and the richness of diverse cultures, if not the unity of the African people. And perhaps this splendid moment of food and fun, unwittingly in its simplicity, made comprehensible even the most complex layers upon layers of academic papers presented during the conference.
Governments can also help to structure their curriculum to affect the learning style of these candidates prior to the online testing.
We will need to give opportunities to learners in class and in the assessment rooms to be able to solve problems, to be able to investigate, to conduct research, and also to reflect. We want to produce learners who are confident and who are proud of their rich cultural heritage.
Delegates attending the conference got a chance to sample different delicacies of Kenyan music and dances on the menu throughout the conference. This was that rarely ever moment that the sounds of the African drums pulsated the glamorous night, constantly urging the delegates to spring forth and walk the talk of regional integration. The conference excursions, Nairobi National Museum, Nairobi National Park, and Hell's Gate in Naivasha, served to energize the delegates back to the momentum needed to drive the remaining sessions of the conference to a satisfying conclusion.
This is very good. Actually, we've gone to two sites. That is the Olkaria geothermal power supply place, and we really enjoyed ourselves. Now we are at the Hell's Gate, and the experience is very good. Most of the delegates were asking, where is this hell? And I think they have seen the hell.
I think I feel very much at home here, and it's a place I want to visit often and often and often again. Thank you.
The Nairobi National Park is a unique ecosystem because it's the only park in the city in the whole world.
Super place, really good.
AEAA annual conference delegates have just had their excursion. This is Route Nairobi, and here with me I've been able to get the president, Mr. Aragon, who is going to tell us something about this excursion, how he has found it, and the general feeling about the conference.
Not many countries have this type of tourist attraction, where you see hippopotamus, you see rhinos, you see giraffe, you see different types of monkeys, baboons, and what have you. We are just enjoying ourselves, and everybody is happy.
The Hell's Gate National Park is named after a narrow break in the cliffs, once a tributary of a prehistoric lake that fed early humans in the Rift Valley, famous for intense active geothermal activity and a variety of wild animals.
Kenyans are really hospitable, they're really friendly, and really free-spirited. Like, since I came, I felt really at home.
the flame of regional integration has been rekindled. The sights and sounds from this conference will undoubtedly shape the arc of educational assessment towards regional integration. The AEAA delegates have spoken and their voices have been heard.
And so far we have found the conference to be very interesting. There have been a very broad range of themes. We have learnt a lot from the sessions, and so far it has been an excellent experience for us.
I therefore consider this conference one of the key initiatives towards the growth and development of the African continent, because we all know that education is one of the strong pillars for the development and progression of mankind.
Guide you and protect you. I have always listened to my students as their guardian. I have always given them the love, care and protection they need. Tell me what is troubling you.
Although some questions may have remained unanswered, this was not the end, but only the beginning.
Into reading the communique of the conference. The 3 days paper presentations took place in 6 breakaway rooms organized according to the following 6 sub-themes. 1. Assessing multiple intelligence in 21st century, alternative assessments, opportunities, and challenges. 2. Assessment of learners with special needs, including the gifted and the talented. 3. Managing the social and educational effects of high-stakes exam assessments to ensure equity and fairness. 4. Leveraging on ICTs in assessment. Number 5, enhancing technical, vocational, and occupational assessment, including recognizing prior learning. And number 6, role of educational assessment data in informing teaching, learning, and policy. Now the hour has come, the hour when we are supposed to change the leadership at the helm of the association.
I am humbled to deliver my acceptance speech as the president of AEAA. Indeed, it is a great honor for me, the Kenya National Examinations Council, the government of Kenya, the Eastern African region, which is led by our able Dan Odongo, to be bestowed the presidency of this great association. I wish to assure all the delegates present that I will steer the association to its optimal performance in realizing its objectives. But my challenge to you is this: beyond the usual motions of what we do, what do we want to see different? I'm glad that South Africa is having a great theme of reimagining assessment. So let each one of us take it as a challenge and ask, how do we reimagine assessment so that we make Africa even a greater place?
I stand here to appreciate the fact that the Executive Committee of the AEAA has awarded the bid to host the prestigious AEAA annual conference to Umalusi, the Quality Council for General and Further Education and Training in South Africa. We truly appreciate the gesture and the opportunity. NEC, just like the Examinations Council of Zambia before them, has been a good host. I've enjoyed this conference. The arrangements have been impeccable. Everything at this conference in Nairobi has been immaculate.
the Kenya National Examination Council, and all distinguished guests. It is an honor.
Kenya National Examinations Council, tuhifadhi hadhi ya mitihani yetu.